Now to the court ruling that blocked President Trump's tariffs. It angered the president, but relieved many businesses. For now, a U.S. appeals court has paused the lower court's ruling, restoring the president's ability to impose tariffs. Sarah Jenkins takes a closer look at the ruling in this week's brief.
The court's decision was a major legal blow to President Trump's global tariff agenda. It included his so-called Liberation Day tariffs and earlier levies on China, Mexico, and Canada. The court said the International Emergency Economic Powers Act that Trump cited does not allow him to impose tariffs. The ruling also stated that tariffs aimed at addressing trade imbalances should fall under non-emergency legislation and that the law does not grant the president unlimited power to impose such tariffs. It also upheld that tariffs targeting specific threats like drug trafficking and illegal immigration are not legally justified under the orders. Although the court's decision is temporarily halted, the Trump administration could still turn to the Supreme Court to advance the president's trade policy.
Thank you, Sarah. Former Democratic Congressman Beto O'Rourke says he's considering running for office next year. He's been making the rounds, holding town hall meetings here in North Texas, including this one earlier this month in Garland, and also across the state. O'Rourke has also been doing interviews, and we asked him if he's going to run for office again, and if so, which position, U.S. Senate or governor?
This moment's bigger than a political office or a campaign or any person, certainly myself included. There are a lot of folks, Jack, in Texas who are really hurting right now. They're being hurt by this administration, whether it's cuts to the VA or proposed cuts to Medicaid or Social Security, or turning away loaded trucks from the food bank in Amarillo. So the thing to do right now is to show up for one another and bring people together, regardless of party affiliation, Democrats, Republicans, independents. As you mentioned, we're doing it in Wichita Falls, in Denton. We were in Garland on Monday night, but we're going everywhere to show up and be with everyone. And I really think there's power in bringing people together right now.
At the very first interview you did, you were asked if you were going to run for U.S. Senate. You said no. And then at the Denton rally or town hall, you were asked by a member of the crowd, are you going to run for U.S. Senate? And you said, and let me make sure I get this right, you told the crowd that you would run for U.S. Senate if the people of Texas want. What does that mean?
It means that if I am the right person to run for that seat, if I can do the most good for the people of Texas by actually winning and being able to serve them in that position of public trust, then that's something I should certainly look at. But I don't know, well, I do know that I'm nowhere close to understanding the answer to those questions. And I don't think anyone can really, unless they've gone out and listened to and been with and worked alongside the people that they want to serve and represent. And so, Jack, for me, I'm pretty open to any role that's going to be useful. That could be a candidate. It could be continuing to run Powered by People, which is registering hundreds of thousands of voters across the state of Texas. It could be getting behind great people who are running for these really important positions across the state, from school board to U.S. Senate and everything in between.
So what criteria and what factors will you use to determine whether you should run for an office?
You know, I don't have a spreadsheet or a list or a set of data points that I'm going to be looking at, but I really, and I mean this as genuinely and honestly as I can, and I hope this is coming across. I just want to be useful and I want to be helpful. I want to be able to look my kids in the eye and say, hey, when all this was going down in America in 2025, here's everything I did to make sure that your future and the future of your kids and their kids was secured, that we were able to pass on the last best hope of Earth to the generations that follow ours. And I'm well aware that, you know, I've run for races and I've won them for U.S. Congress 3 times. I've run for races and I've lost them. And in some of those cases, even though we lost, we helped people down ballot do great things. And I'm well aware that there have been years where I've been helpful, where my name hasn't been on the ballot at all. So I'm looking at all of those different scenarios. And I guess, Jack, as I continue to listen to people, which is the most important thing I think I can do, and travel the state, that will be incredibly clarifying for the path that I pursue. And I'm really agnostic as to what that looks like. I don't need to be a candidate. I don't need to hold office, but I do need to help Texas and this country at this moment of truth. And I'm going to do everything I possibly can. And I'm taking nothing off the table.
And don't forget, you can watch all our full interviews we did for today's show on our CBS Texas YouTube page. Once you're there, hit the subscribe button. And that's all for Eye on Politics this week. I'm Jack Fink. I am listening, and we are listening to you at CBS News Texas. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again next week. And from all of us here, have a great Sunday.